We're gonna pick right back up with Sasha. As this lady puts her purse up on the table and just informs you that somebody seems to want to send their regards. She doesn't say anything else, as if she's trying to gauge your reaction to her words. If you want to attempt to hide them, I will need a roll.
I am going to go ahead and try and suppress my reaction.
Okay.
What do you want?
That's definitely going to be subterfuge and composure.
Not a bad roll. Let's see what the dice say.
To her eyes, you look stone-faced. You can tell there's a bit of a quizzical look on her face as you give her essentially nothing, emotion-wise.
Seems I'm popular these days.
I suppose popular's a word for it. And then she makes a slight nod of her head out the window, as if to try and get you to look in that direction. Just don't make it too obvious, she says.
Okay, I'm gonna subtly look out the window.
You see, it's late afternoon. People going to and from. There is a certain energy about the people outside with how things are going in the city. It's nervous and concerned energy. Nobody looks necessarily happy to be out on the streets right now. There is one person, however, waiting at a bus stop across the street that you notice every now and again looks into the bakery and then back into their paper. If somebody wouldn't be trying to make you look for somebody that's outside, you probably wouldn't have ever noticed this person. I'm gonna be quite honest with you, and she kind of leans in. I noticed them a few blocks back, before you turned into the bakery. I noticed that they were kind of tailing you, and when you went in here, they went and sat over at that bench, and I kind of followed you in here to let you know.
So, why were you following me? Or were you following them?
I grew concerned. You know, I don't know a lot of things. I don't, but I've been in situations where I've been followed before, and I learned how to notice when I'm being followed, and I notice similar patterns of behavior of that person, so I don't know why they're following you. I just know that they were following you, and You didn't seem like you knew you were being followed. So, I felt it's an obligation, If I noticed that and then I were to go on to the news tomorrow and find out that the girl that I saw being followed was found murdered in an alleyway somewhere, that would have been on me,
That wouldn't have happened. It's not the girl you were following. It's Sasha. You know my name.
That I do.
This is not a coincidence.
It's not.
So were you following him or were you following me?
Okay. So at this point, she kind of shifts uncomfortably in her seat. Okay, so it's gonna sound crazy. I just know things sometimes. And it can get pretty scary accurate sometimes, okay?
Okay.
But that's how I know your name. I can see things as well.
So what do you see when you look at me?
She pauses for a moment, and it almost seems like she gets somewhat glassy-eyed. Almost like she's looking through you. Well, I know your name is Sasha. I know you've seen things that nobody should have to see. And your friend doesn't blame you.
I don't have many friends around here.
Well, this friend's not necessarily from around here. I see a fence.
We're done here. Sasha's just gonna stand up and just... No.
Just if you're gonna leave, that's fine. I can understand. Just please be careful of that person. They are following you. Please just trust me on that.
Well, I was wrong. I do have some friends. And they are bad people. So it's not him. So it's not me that has to be worried about him. I'm not mad at you. But I will not listen to you. And Sasha's going to go to the counter and she's going to pull out some money and slap it on the counter and say, "My compliments to the chef." And then just out the door.
The lady that you're speaking with does not follow you. Doesn't make any attempt to. You would like to roll me a perception at this time, however?
Sure. Oops. Yeah. Kind of on edge at the moment.
You can't see them. But it's now, however, with that bit of heightened sense of urgency and her warning, as it were. You feel them now. You have that feeling.
All right, let's see.
Whoever it is pretty good at maneuvering themselves to not be seen.
Okay.
If it wasn't for the heightened paranoia, some people would say, is it paranoia if it's true? You know.
Exactly. All right, I'm gonna call Edward.
Yeah, lads.
Hey, so someone's tailing me. I'm going to go around the block a couple times. Well, I'm near, she's going to name the bakery. And I'm going to try and keep it casual and keep this guy on me. And if you wouldn't terribly mind coming and following him, then maybe we can start getting some answers as to who's got a beat on us.
Yeah, I'll be there. Just keep moving.
Just so timelines match up, this is during your investigations, Edward. This might actually explain the zeros.
At least something did. Roll me successes. Roll 20.
Is you got drug into this instead. So, doesn't take you too long, Edward, to get to the location. You see Sasha doing whatever it is Sasha is doing.
Which is pretty much trying to, in layman's terms, fly casual, of looking like she's not thinking that someone is following her, meandering, but keeping on the move enough to not let the pursuer get bored.
Would you like to give me a check of some sort, Edward?
Not really. What would you like?
Oh, I feel like there's a few that could work here. Obviously, a standard perception could work. I feel like what would it be? It would be wits plus stealth in this case, since you're looking for somebody that is trying to be stealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Even heck, a wits survival to notice.
I'll take that.
Yeah, to notice that somebody's being stalked, essentially.
With willpower. You owe me this one. One success. Wow. Tonight is not my night.
I hate that I have to make an opposing roll on this. With very much the same situation Sasha is having is the same one that you're having. You can tell that she's being followed. However, the person that's following her is using what is essentially called the gray man approach to it.
Right.
Every time you think, okay, this is the person, they turn off. He is exceptional at just blending into the crowd. It's becoming frustrating at this point because you're like, so many of these people are going about their daily lives and he's able to mingle with them so well that you just can't pick him out of a group. And on a somewhat frustrating note, we're gonna go back to Frederick. How long do you plan on staying at this bar?
I mean, unless he's got anything else better to do, he's probably gonna stay until he feels like he's probably not gonna wake up here, you know? Like, he's got no intention of leaving unless something else pulls him away. It's been too long since he's had a...
So, since you're staying, drinking, I would say go ahead and get 1 willpower back. As you indulge your alcoholic vice, as it were. The night wears on. The bartender who you were first speaking with started the day, or started your encounter as... chipper's not the right word, but, you know, somebody that is aware of how dire things are, but is just making it work, essentially. But as the night's gone on, he's gotten progressively more and more somber. And at a certain point, mid-drink, mid-filling your drink, he freezes and is just looking up at the TV. Any color that he had has drained away. And he begins to cry. Openly.
What's on the TV?
TV is right now just a picture of a young boy and young girl, probably no older than 13, 14. And it is essentially a missing persons report. Go ahead and give me a perception roll at a -2, since you are drunk at this point.
Damn, no experience bonus.
Your goggles do not give you a bonus here.
But they give a bonus to my luck.
Apparently. Edward is like, okay, got it. Go get drunk. Come back, re-roll. If your guess is correct, there is familial, we'll get the word out, resemblance between the bartender and these kids. He's rubbing at his face with his arm. He is now attempting to control it a little bit, but is not having much success.
I'll move over and where was the last place you saw him?
It was 4 or 5 days ago. The police stated that they wanted to keep the investigation under wraps, at least for a little while, before announcing that they were officially missing. They were suspecting. They already had a suspect, and they didn't want to tip off that suspect. I don't think there was no suspect. And it's at this point, let's just say, your cup runneth over. He hasn't stopped pouring the alcohol into your cup. It's kind of just, he's not paying any attention at all at this point.
I'll tilt that bottle back up so he stops wasting. Where'd you last see him? Cops are shit these days.
He pauses and kind of turns to you. So, they're my brother's kids, to be exact. They had, my brother's an avid spelunker, as it were. And, you know, they kind of always wanted to go with Dad. And, you know, there's some beginner caves, you know, around here that, you know, risk is minimal, so he decided to take him in there. And you know, I wasn't necessarily there, so I don't know the full length of the story. I just know that when the dad came back, they weren't there with him. And he stated that there was another vehicle there. And it's kind of off, I don't want to say it's off the beaten trail, you know, as stated, but it is odd to have another vehicle just be there when you come out of a, you know, cave. By the time my brother, I don't understand it myself. He says by the time the cops were there, the vehicle was gone. He said he gave them plate numbers, but he said he never saw anybody take off with the vehicle. And I'm sitting here, you know, with the obvious thought in my head of do you not just stay next to the vehicle? Like, I don't. And you know, there's obviously then the part of me that, in that back part of my head, that goes, if the story doesn't make sense, then it's the other option. But you don't ever really want to go to that option, you know?
You know where they were? Cave's got a name.
I'd have to I've been trying not to think about it because every time I think about it, I come back to the same conclusion. And I don't like that conclusion. You know? Nobody wants to think that their brother that they've lived with and, you know, been with their entire life could do that to abandon their kids in some cave. But, you know, his story doesn't make sense, and that's the only thing my brain can go to.
The mother's still in the picture?
No. She died of cancer 3 years back, I believe.
Condolences. Do I get the impression that I'm gonna get anything out of this guy? Like, if I ask him, all right, you don't want to tell me where it was, but your brother got a name, like, is that just gonna push him over? Like,
Give me a roll. That sounds like a wit's empathy. It's not... He's not unwilling to talk. It's just... This is a very difficult subject, and it does seem like he's been trying to repress a lot of his thoughts about it. So, just having a conversation with him isn't gonna get him to open up. You're gonna actually have to push.
alright. Well, we'll do it this way then. Look, you don't like that. You don't like the answer you keep coming to. I don't like it either. But let's say for a second it's true. They got left in that cave. They're still there. Where were they?
You want to give me a roll?
Sure, what do you want?
I'm feeling like this is manipulation plus persuasion here.
Damn.
The social character is being social.
Wow, my dice, they work.
Pauses for a moment. I believe now the cavern chain is known as the Lost World Caverns. It's a pretty touristy area, but caves got multiple entrances. They weren't going through the tour route. I don't have like the exact opening they were going through, but it was that cave system, no doubt.
I see.
And you can kind of see him wince when he says the name, as if he's saying it and his brain's like, he doesn't even want to think of the place.
I am going to let him be for now. That's the information I wanted from him. And I'd rather not push my luck. But yeah, I will finish my glass and, I mean, not do anything tonight, but I should probably check up on the others, you know. I've been, you know, at least shoot a text of, yeah, make a decision on what you want to do here, or we staying or going, kind of deal.
So I will go ahead and guide us back over to Sasha and Edward. Bit earlier in the day, so you have not neither of you will have received that message.
Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't find your unwanted shadow. So many people around just disappearing, you know.
All right, let's. Well, I guess if we try and do things the smart way, all that's left for us is to do things a stupid way. And Sasha's gonna turn down an alley. And is gonna just go down this alley, and she's just gonna try and navigate these back ends to find a dead end.
Edward, you going with?
I will stay in a tail as soon as somebody starts to follow down that alleyway. But I will go.
All right. I need a perception from you, Edward.
Here we go. Ready for it? Yeah, there it is. Oh, hold on.
Did you roll the wrong number of dice or something?
No, I'm just checking. It's not on. No, it's just I am rolling terribly. So yeah,
It's weird that it's saying you're rolling 0 dice with a modifier of 5 instead of what you're actually.
Yeah, it's just
It's just the way he rolled it. If you don't click,
I find it. Yeah, I find it easier just to
Yeah, you
count the peps and roll.
dice pool as a modifier. It works the same.
Okay. Well, it's supposed to work the same,
It does,
but
it's
the streak of zeros makes me think that maybe it doesn't work.
You've been standing at the entrance of this alley for about... No, not standing at the entrance of the alley. I wouldn't say Edward would just be standing there, because that would dissuade anybody from even trying to. However, you don't see anybody go down that alley. Sasha, for better or for worse, you get what you want. You find a dead-end alley. And behind you, you do hear footsteps. All right.
I don't even know that Edward isn't right behind me, so I'm gonna turn around.
You see an individual wearing a gray hoodie, hood pulled up, blue jeans, some sneaker probably Nike, with one of those. It's not an N95 mask. It's just designed to look like one. It looks to be mostly cloth over their face. Their hands are in their pockets, and as you turn, they kind of look at the area, and then they begin to turn back around as if they had maybe just made a wrong turn.
You lost?
Yeah, it looks like I am. About as lost as you. You hear somewhat of a chuckle.
I'm where I want to be, friend.
Well, good on you then. Take care of yourself. And they proceed to walk away.
I'm gonna follow him. Uno reverse.
I thought you were where you wanted to be. They kind
I
of
thought you didn't know where you want to be. How do you know that I don't want to be where you are?
At those words, they stop. Want to run that by me again?
You said you didn't know. You said that this wasn't where you wanted to be. So you want to be somewhere. Where exactly are you rushing off to?
I don't feel like I have to answer that question.
Yeah, you do what you want to do.
At this point, they kind of sigh, flick back their hood, and look directly at you. Now, going by what the lady had said, you assumed it was going to be a man. This person does not look male. She sighs and goes, "All right. Let's start over then. I need information.
What information are you?
Information I know you have.
So you get that this is going to be a conversation then?
Yes, we are.
If I'm giving you
conversing.
information, you're going to give me information.
Let's see about that.
But I'm a generous host, so ask away. You first.
I know you've been in contact with a man named Richter. I need his details.
I've been in contact with a lot of people. Some
Cut
of
the
whom
crap.
are... All right, so let's talk price. What are you giving me for me giving you Richter?
It's at this point that she kind of... It's not a... It's a zip-up hoodie, and she kind of unzips her hoodie to reveal that she is accoutred in the vestments of a police officer. Which also, as she undoes the hoodie, reveals her belt, as it were. We'll do this price. Seem to think you're in a position to be bargaining. I need to correct that, apparently. Tell you what.
If you're desperate to find Richter and you take me into a station, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to ask for a lawyer.
No. See, The problem is Richter's careful. Yeah. I mean, he made it all the way to Baltimore. Or made it all the way from Baltimore, I should say. And I don't plan on letting him get away for what he's done. Now, I've been doing some digging on you, and it's at this point that she kind of reaches into her vest pocket and pulls out a note, flicks it open. Let's see. You came into town with a priest who was marked as suspicious by the local police department due to some incident involving a burned down hotel. Then you were seen talking with the priest at the church nearby there. I'm assuming you stayed there maybe the night. Just guessing here on that one. Priests can be kind of hard to get information out of. Reports have you approaching one of the fires as people fled the area. There was a conversation that happened between you and a group of people. And literally, she's just reading off everything that Sasha has been doing. And then she moves that paper behind. And then she starts reading off everything Frederick's done the last couple of weeks. Everything Edward's been the last couple of weeks. Everything Robert's been doing. Bishop. As she kind of puts the notes away.
Well, it's no wonder you didn't catch Richter. You've been too busy writing down what me and my friends have allegedly been doing.
I'm very good at my job. Richter, however, is very careful. Now, do I need to force the information out? Or are we actually going to talk here? Look, I really don't care about you. I don't care about your friends. All I care about is getting the guy that stalked me for 11 years. That's all I care.
You know he's not a simple man, right?
I've heard claims. I don't believe those claims. So if you're gonna start spewing some hogwash about the supernatural, save it. You should be a smart enough person to know that that stuff is bull crap.
I'm saying that this situation isn't nearly as simple as you want it to be. Which is why, as I said, I don't know how much I have to give. But if you know so much about my compatriots and myself, you'll know that he's ingratiated himself to all of us. And I can't unilaterally act. So, we can do this one of two ways. You can meet with my compatriots and will be most eager to evaluate what you are bringing to the table. Or you arrest me and see if I'll talk in the interrogation room.
See, here's the thing. I have nothing to arrest you on. So we know that option doesn't really exist. Not in any sort of legal capacity that there couldn't even really detain you. I don't have jurisdiction here.
So, if you're not prepared to do things by the book because you can't, then it sounds like you're going to have to do things according to our rules. Which is why I said it all gets down to saying, what can you offer? Don't get me wrong. From what we met of Richter, from what we saw of Richter, he certainly has a charming side. But if you are looking to mete out some off-the-books justice, there's a valid line of reasoning where he deserves it too. But if you want our help, and that's what you're having to ask for, you need to recognize that it may very well have a price.
He pauses. Thinks for a moment. And what is that price gonna be? Can make things, if nothing else, would the price be?
That's not on me to decide.
Oh, but it very much is. This conversation's between you and me. Nobody else has to be brought into it. You have the information I need. The only thing we don't have, is an agreement, I guess.
Yeah, but I have an agreement with my compatriots. As I said, there's no love lost between myself and Richter, and maybe even between all of us and Richter. But I'm not going to go behind their backs.
She pauses and thinks for a moment. Then call up whoever you need to. I'll have a sit down with them. However, I still want you to name a price here, right now.
Sasha's going to slowly reach into her jacket and take out the business card. Juliet's business card. You're looking for Richter. We're looking for Juliet. I can't speak for them, But I'll say, partner swap sounds like a fair trade right here. She's gonna offer out the card.
She takes it, spins it around in her fingers. All right then. She retrieves a piece of paper and hands it over to Sasha. You set the time, obviously a little later than now. You set the place. I'll meet you there. She zips up her hoodie, flips her hood back over her head, and makes her way back past Edward again without being seen. The only thing that's on the piece of paper is a phone number and the name Gretchen.
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Hunter the Vigil, Critical Measures, part of the Domain Gaming's Contagion Anthology, written and told by Wyverian. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcomed. Until the next chapter, don't stop asking yourself, why must those who hunt monsters hunt themselves?